Here we have a very special little 1310 shaft of John Larrabee. He's got a 60's Ford Econoline van, and he's stuffed the whole power head from a wrecked late model Charger into it, is what it sounds like. So, due to an extreme packaging problem of the power head into the Econoline van, which isn't very big, his entire drive shaft length is 13.5 inches flange to flange. And we'll talk about the flanges here in a couple of seconds, but we'll just go over the drive shaft. So these are my 2 balance flanges I use for a lot of different things. They got about a zillion holes in them, and I caught 2 holes that were the right bolt circle to get these bolted in, and I dialed the flanges in and got them bolted in there so I could check this. There's not one part on this other than the U-joints that hasn't been heavily massaged by me to make it even possible. So we'll go over the high points here, but let's go over the drive shaft first. That's cranking. That's all at 3,000 RPM. 0 at the rear axle. That's real nice right there. 0 at the transmission. So I've assigned this end as the transmission end. Doesn't really matter, they're symmetrical, but we're just going to say that's the transmission end. So I'm happy with that. We'll go over a few things here. This is a little Spicer 1310 slip yoke that I've shortened. Put the little groove in so the grease boot could go, the dust boot could go back on. I've had the plug out once so I could get it on a mandrel to machine it. The plug's back in there, so it's a functional slip yoke, has a grease fitting. I've got Spicer snap tights in it. These are, so this is an ancient. It's got to be, I've probably had this on the shelf for 30 years or 25 years without, not even joking. Cleveland Gear Products, 1 3/8 16 spline, stub shaft, full length stub shaft that I cut like 4 inches off. This is only going to telescope like 3/4 of an inch. It's going to compress a little bit more so we can get it in the chassis and then suck it back out to engage these flanges into the transmission flange. We'll look at that in a second. So I machine the weld hub of the Cleveland Gear Products stub shaft to press a 211, I don't know, 2-3 1757. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, I'm sorry, but it is a weld joke for 2-inch 120 drive shaft tubing. So that's, I machined that to be like 2-inch 120, pressed that in there and welded it. And you can see here, I had it all jigged up perfect, and it moved about 8 thousandths when it cooled. So I over welded it here a little bit to suck it back, because a normal shrinking process like you do on tubing isn't going to work, but that didn't. I got this thing running about 0. In fact, I don't have a weight on it, so then I'm checking this to make sure this thing was actually going to work good for him. So as you can see, these PTI flange, these are forged flange yokes. These are 100 millimeter, but the socket yoke that it goes into from the Charger is 108. So here's a little machine shop trickery here. That's 108 there. So I made these, never mind the packaging problems, and so that completes the rest of the hole. These go on here like such. You're going to go on there like that. And you can see that they drop in here like this. And they line up with the holes, and that keeps them concentric. Plus, it gives it a full purchase point for the bolts. And to aid with the packaging problem, getting this thing assembled in the chassis, so we can weasel these things in here and then tuck these in like that after. He's got enough room around the flange yoke here to tuck these in. So we're going to go with this, and yeah, so basically just a little detail of these two. I made 4 of these, of course. There's 2 more right there. Oop, yeah, that's good. Anyways, so having said all of that, we're going to get this to John, and he can be on with his Charger project. This isn't the shortest drive shaft I've ever built, but this is the shortest one I've built lately, except for maybe the River Dredge a couple of years ago. But this is in the top 10.